Have you ever woke up in the morning where you just felt like automatically you're on the wrong side of the bed and you don't know why? You blame it on the weather, or you blame it on, well, it's just Monday, or you picked up your phone right away and saw something on the news that was annoying or upsetting or depressing. And all those things are external. There are things that are out of your control. And before you get out of bed, you're already having a bad day. Sometimes I wake up that way and I'm aware of it, and I notice that I'm in that state of mind, and I think about how the rest of the day is going to go if I stay in this type of mood. And I know it will attract things to me that are also negative or annoying. When I wake up in a bad mood, my day doesn't end up well at all. And that I recognize that I have the ability to choose in the early morning what kind of day I'm going to have. And sometimes it's just as simple as me saying, I choose to be happy today. And it's like a light switch goes off in my head, and it works. And I'll ask myself what things make me happy. So I'll play a favorite song that always makes me happy, and or brings back a really happy memory. So I'll intentionally choose something happy. I'll think of a funny joke. I'll think of a funny memory. There's so many little micro moments in our lives that we can focus and be aware of and be grateful for. And it can make a shift in your overall state of mind. When I make that decision to decide to be happy, and I automatically see things differently. Just like that, I notice a shift, and then everything around me changes. So the moment I realize that there's things that I have no control over, and I realize that there are things that I can let go of. So the first one is letting go over control over circumstances that I have no control over. We're afraid of the future, what it may bring, or we try to control other people in our lives. Like, if only they just acted better, I'll be happier. That feeling of wanting to be in control comes from, it's rooted in fear. And even if you are in control of something, you fear losing that control. And life is so much bigger than my ability to control it. Every day I need to choose to let go of circumstances. I can only do so much. I can wake up happy. I can wake up pursuing my passion and meaning in life, and then let God or universe or my inner being handle all the details. And once I let go of that, I start to feel relaxed, and I let go of that fight or flight, that inner nervous system that hijacks your state of being, and that all comes from fear. Fear is just going to be there no matter what, but if I'm aware of it when it's creeping up, I can make a decision in that very moment to choose love, to choose the next best feeling thought, having faith, having a knowing that things are going to work out. Everything always works out for me one way or the other, even when it looks like it's not working out for me. The second thing that might be an energy drain is the absorbing other people's emotions. So have you ever walked into a room and you just feel it? You just feel the energy drain. You feel like something's not right. Something's not sitting right with you. And they call that empathy. If you can be empathetic and feel someone's pain, that has a strength and it has a weakness. So the people around you know that you feel their pain and that you can relate to them and you understand. But at the same time, if you don't know how to establish the correct boundaries for you, you could start absorbing those pains. So now you have, instead of one person being sad, going through grief, or being angry, you're both in it together. So it's almost like a person that's drowning, they tend to pull the person that's trying to rescue them, they tend to pull them in, and then you're both drowning. I'd like to say that, and it's a little catchphrase, there's a difference between absorbing the energy and observing it. And some people like that. They want to feel the other person's pain. They feel like it's a way of taking their pain away. And I get that. It's a very noble thing to do. But at the same time, what if you can't take that pain away and that suffering away? You can only be there to comfort them. And if you were to catch a sickness that they have, now you're both sick. How are you going to take care of that person who is sick if you're also sick? Or you respond in a neutral way, it doesn't mean that you don't care. You still care about the other person. You're just choosing to be in a neutral state so you can stay calmer. The third energy drain is the stories that we tell ourselves. We are storytellers. That's how we make sense of our reality. We tell a little story that puts all the pieces together and it helps us remember the past. It has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. Sometimes the story is put together wrong, or there's too much of a meaning or emphasis on something that might not have been true based on your perspective. I have a memory when my parents and I were walking on a boardwalk, and I looked down at the boardwalk and there was a crack in it this big. And I saw the water underneath, and I panicked and I thought I was going to fall through the crack. It was unrealistic, but I believed it to be true. I thought I was going to fall through and disappear forever. My parents, they didn't understand what was wrong with me, why I was acting that way, why I was crying. So they just picked me up and comforted me. So that was a scary memory, and my mom or mom and dad comforted me. So say my parents did something different, they laughed at me or they yelled at me. So that would give it another meaning, a negative meaning. You might have a story where you feel ignored, you feel left out, you feel betrayed, abandoned. If you feel like you're having negative feelings, recognize those negative feelings and say to yourself, do these feelings align with how I want to feel? So the other thing is letting go of resentment and replacing it with forgiveness. The memories of resentment playing into your mind, you can just say, this is the time to forgive. Some people do, they'll forgive once, and then that's it, and never again. They don't have to, that forgiveness is there forever. But sometimes the resentment creeps in and you have to forgive all over again. And then the other thing to let go of is the illusion of who you think you should be. That's a big one. I think throughout our lives, we are told what we should be. There's so many expectations on us that we are, or we're somebody's wife, we're somebody's mom, we play different roles. Sometimes we let go of our true identity and we forget who we are. Many of us have done different things to fit in, to stay safe, avoid rejection, and we tend to just go under the radar. So in a way, we're not noticed, but ultimately we want to be noticed. We want to be heard. We want to be seen. We want our voice to matter. If you're still living under the illusion of fear and you're not living up to your true potential, you feel like you're just faking it, and that phony or that fakeness can be exhausting. When you stop trying to be who you think you should be and allow yourself to be who you truly are, you feel so much less pressure and you don't have to explain yourself. When you allow yourself to be your authentic self, the energy feels calmer and you feel more aligned. For me, this hasn't been about doing more. You have to slow down to speed up. Meditation helped me slow down my brain, slow down the thoughts in my head that were just kind of taking up space. They're like rent free. They're like rent free in my brain, and without any supervision. I had to learn how to supervise those thoughts, check them out, seeing what those thoughts were. I just spit. Seeing what those thoughts were, and recognizing, are these negative thoughts or are they positive thoughts? Are they thoughts of fear? Are they thoughts of love? And once I was able to watch them, then I decided to meditate with my eyes open and notice the words, the thoughts, and the words that I was saying. Is this something that once you arrive, you're there forever? Nope, sorry. No, it's a practice. It's something that you have to be aware of every single day for the rest of your life, but it does get easier. And so if once you get to aware, you're halfway there. So that's something that I heard a long time ago, and it is true. Because if you're not aware of it, you're not going to know when those thoughts are creeping in, because the thoughts create the words, create the actions, creates the beliefs, and you can get yourself stuck into a that negative energy and feel so weighed down. So if this meets you where you're at, ask yourself, what am I holding on to that I don't need to be holding on to anymore? What are the things that I can let go? You don't have to change everything all at once. Just pick one. Pick one thing. It could be the beliefs about yourself, not being your true authentic self, absorbing the all the energy in a room. That's a big one. Just one small reframe at a time. And usually that's enough to make a big difference in your life. If you found this video helpful, wonderful, because that's why I'm here. I want to provide value and interesting content from my perspective. So bye for now. I'll see you at the next video.